I grew up surrounded by echoes of English history, where ancient stone and lineage whisper of battles, kings and queens. But no figure from the Middle Ages casts a longer shadow than Eleanor of Aquitaine. She was more than a queen. She was a duchess in her own right, a crusader, a rebel, a prisoner, and the matriarch of one of Europe's most powerful dynasties. Her legacy reaches through the Plantagenets, shapes the Wars of the Roses, and lands squarely in the heart of Tudor England. The Reformation, the clash of church and state, even the modern British monarchy, all trace back in part to Eleanor. This is the story of Eleanor of Aquitaine, mother of empires, the making of a queen. Born around 1122 in Aquitaine, a vast and wealthy duchy in southwestern France, Eleanor was heir to a region richer and more cultured than the lands controlled by the King of France himself. When her father died in 1137, Eleanor, barely 15, inherited the duchy and immediately became the most eligible woman in Europe. That same year she married Louis VII of France, becoming Queen of France before her 16th birthday. But Eleanor wasn't the docile, prayerful queen Louis expected. She was politically astute, outspoken, and loved music, poetry, and courtly life. She brought the elegance of Aquitaine to the French court, and scandal. In 1147, she and Louis set out on the Second Crusade, an unprecedented act for a queen. Rumours swirled that Eleanor dressed as an Amazon and had a too close relationship with her uncle, Raymond of Antioch. The crusade was a disaster, the marriage even more so. By 1152 the Pope granted their annulment. They had produced only 2 daughters. Louis kept custody of them. Eleanor kept Aquitaine, the Queen of England. Only 8 weeks later, Eleanor shocked Europe again. She married Henry Plantagenet, Count of Anjou, who was 11 years her junior. In 1154, Henry became King Henry II of England, and Eleanor was once again a queen. Together they ruled over an empire stretching from the Scottish borders to the Pyrenees. Eleanor bore him 8 children, including Richard the Lionheart and John Lackland. Eleanor acted as a powerful co-ruler. She governed Aquitaine, mediated political disputes, and managed the English court in Henry's absence. But their marriage soured. Henry had affairs. Eleanor wanted more power, especially for her sons. In 1173, she supported a rebellion by her sons against their father. Henry crushed the rebellion and imprisoned Eleanor for 16 years. The Lioness Unchained. When Henry died in 1189, her son Richard I became king and immediately freed his mother. Eleanor, now nearly 70, resumed her role as political matriarch. She ruled England in Richard's absence during the Crusades, helped raise ransom money when he was captured, and even travelled over the Alps to find a bride for his nephew. She died in 1204, in her 80s, at the Abbey of Fontevraud, where she lies beside Henry and Richard. But her story didn't end there. The legacy of a dynasty Eleanor's children and grandchildren would dominate Europe. Her descendants include King John, signer of the Magna Carta, Eleanor of Castile, Queen of Edward I, Edward III, founder of the Plantagenet claim to the French throne, launching the 100 Years' War. The Plantagenets descended from Eleanor ruled for over 300 years, but that legacy also led to division. The Wars of the Roses. By the 15th century, Eleanor's descendants had split into rival branches, the House of York and the House of Lancaster. Their feud over the throne would become the Wars of the Roses, a bloody civil conflict lasting decades. Her bloodline was on both sides. The outcome of that war, the rise of Henry Tudor, who became Henry VII, founder of the Tudor dynasty. His marriage to Elizabeth of York united the warring houses. Eleanor's blood flowed in both their veins. The Reformation and beyond. Fast forward to the 16th century. Eleanor's great-great-great-grandson, Henry VIII, became one of England's most infamous kings. His quest for a male heir, something Eleanor herself had been judged by, led to the English Reformation. He broke from Rome, declared himself supreme head of the Church of England, and transformed English society forever. His daughter, Elizabeth I, became one of the most iconic monarchs in world history. Through these rulers, Eleanor's legacy shaped not only monarchy and governance, but also religion, identity, and modern England itself. Reflection: Eleanor of Aquitaine was more than a medieval queen. She was the root of a dynastic tree that gave England the Magna Carta, the Wars of the Roses, the Tudor dynasty, and the Reformation. She was fiercely intelligent, politically ruthless, and culturally influential. A queen twice over, a duchess by right, a mother of monarchs, and the grandmother of a changing world. Eleanor's legacy is not carved in one era. It lives in the fabric of England itself. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed deep dives into powerful historical women, please like, subscribe and share. More stories await.